Let's talk about how to appeal insurance denials like a pro. So, the thing is with appealing insurance denials is that it scares people. People automatically think, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? It's not covered. My medical bills that the provider sent to the insurance got denied. Now I owe all this money. No, it doesn't really work that way. If you have insurance, just please know in the United States, health insurance companies build into their business model the fact that people are too afraid to appeal their denials. Statistics show that less than 3 to 5% at most of all insurance denials, health or medical insurance denials in the United States get appealed. So what they'll do is they have computer systems that will automatically deny many appeals. So a claim comes in from a provider for the services that they provided you as the patient. By the way, a bill from the provider to the insurance company is called a claim. You have this insurance, you're a member of this insurance company's plan. It gets sent to the insurance company and their computers take it in and they automatically will say, well, this is a CPT code that we never cover, or we only cover with certain ICD-10 codes, basically certain medical diagnoses. The point is they're counting on this. You're going to learn that it's really much easier to appeal medical and health insurance denials. You're not going to be one of them that's fooled by this. The first step is to find out what the insurance company is saying is the reason for the denial. Find out the reason for the denial. You're going to take your insurance card, flip to the back. It'll say customer service rep or member services, and that's the number you're going to call. Great. And you're going to ask, what's the process to file an appeal? When you're looking at your EOB, by the way, explanation of benefits, that's the thing you get from your insurance that says somewhere this is not a bill. Often they'll put in a code that's internal to their company of why the medical bill or a particular service in the bill was denied. If that explanation doesn't make sense to you, when you call the insurance department, say, hey, you know what? I'm really not clear. It says that it was denied. Can you explain what this means? You really want to explicitly ask, okay, I'm not sure what service they're talking about is, if there's no CPT code connected with it, and ask them what service was denied. And then, well, can you explain why it was denied? So once you get that information, say, I want to file an appeal. What's the process for filing an appeal? And they'll tell you. Now, sometimes for the first level of appeal, meaning the first time you're appealing for this particular denial, they'll say, you know what, they'll take the appeal over the phone in that conversation with the customer service rep for the insurance company. But often they'll say, this is our process. They'll tell you where to find a form, where to fill it out, how to fill it out, that kind of thing. If it's a real significant amount of money, they're going to say you're going to have to file a written appeal. Great. And you know what? We're going to do this in 3 steps. Step 1, once you get the process for the written appeal and the form, go to your doctor and ask for documentation. I say go to the doc and ask for documentation. That's because your provider, your doc, your physician that provided the services, they want to get paid too. You guys are in the same team. Think about it. They deal with insurance companies all day, every day, and denials all day, every day. And so what you're going to do is say, hey, yeah, as you've seen, some of the CPT codes were denied by my insurance company. This is the process for the appeal they gave me. I'm in the process of writing a written appeal. Can I have your help with getting documentation for the appeal? Many denials are because it's determined as not medically necessary or experimental and investigational. The point is, for these type of denials, this is where you're going to do really well, going to your doc and asking for documentation. And your doc will say why it was medically necessary. Now, sometimes when you have a conversation with the folks on the front lines of the billing department, they may be able to say why it was denied for medical reasons, but don't depend on that. That's unusual for them to have that level of detail. But if you have that level of detail, go to the doc and say, hey, yeah, when I was speaking with the customer service rep at the insurance company, this is what they had to say on why it was determined as not medically necessary or experimental and investigational. Never submit an appeal without documentation from your doc supporting why the services were definitely medically necessary and or not experimental and investigational, or why everything else has been tried. And so therefore, this is the next logical step or level of treatment. All right. Step 2, if that first appeal that you submitted to the insurance company and they still deny it, they say no, they're upholding their denial. That's when you're going to escalate your appeal and say, hey, you know what? I'm asking a peer-to-peer between my physician who provided the services and a similar level physician at the insurance company. You have to do that, unfortunately, too many times when something is considered quote unquote not medically necessary and or experimental and investigational. If the written documentation that your physician submitted the first time is denied, if they say, you know what, yeah, we still are going to stick with our guns. And the reason why you want to do this, the reason why you want to ask your doc to get in touch with your insurance company and schedule a peer-to-peer phone call about these services that were denied is because too often the denials get rubber stamped, meaning it doesn't get looked at closely after the first level of appeal. That's a huge pro tip, folks. And then finally, step 3, let's say for the second time your appeal has been denied by the insurance company. And they're saying, yeah, we still feel it's not medically necessary or experimental and investigational. You're not going to give up. You're going to go outside of the insurance company. So by state law, every state has different types of insurance regulations and requirements and that kind of thing, but they all have a process for reviewing insurance denials by an outside organization. You're going to ask for a review by either an ERO, external review organization, or an IRO, independent review organization. When the insurance company tells you, well, you've exhausted all your denials, you're going to say, okay, yeah, bet. I'm going to take it outside of your company and we're going to look at state laws and see what they have to say. There you go. Huge pro tips. That's how you're going to appeal any of your medical insurance denials like a pro. Go to medicalbillrelief.com for more support.